Ríðar. I am the president or chieftain of Ríðar Wyrd. Today we're going over the study Havamal, which is by Huginn and Muninn Publishing Company, which is located here in the great state of Washington, because, you know, stuff in Washington. We'll be going over stanza 4. This is our 4th video, and we're still screwing it up, so we're doing good. So, without any further ado,
Nelson Young, I'm the elder or vice president of Ríðar Wyrd. I'll be reading from the chisholm translation, done in 2009. Yes, I pronounced it wrong in the first 3 videos, so watch out for that. At least it'll be amusing because English is hard.
And we might make a post underneath the video just to like
clarify.
Yes, James Allen Chisholm.
Yes, because eyes are bad.
All right. Anyway, and I'm Hank Stratton. I am the master of coin, or whatever anybody else would refer to as the treasurer of Ríðar Wyrd. I will be doing a Kindle version of the same study of the Havamal.
The study Havamal.
The study Havamal. Okay.
So one of the things we haven't mentioned before is what is the Havamal. The Havamal is a book considered to be the sacred words of Auden, where he's, and you're going to see the trend throughout these videos. They all relate to one another, and he's going to be our sidekick for that on how they relate. But it's Auden in disguise in quite a few different places while he travels the world of Midgard, or our Earth.
Sure.
So, without any further discussion.
Sure. So we'll go along with the 4th verse. Water is needful for he who comes for a meal, drying and friendly words as well. And if he can get them, kindness, good words, and welcome again.
I will take my turn then. As okay. And I actually like bellows. Water and towels and welcome speech, should he find who comes to the feast. If renown he would get, and again be greeted, wisely and well must he act.
Okay. So one of the other 2 translations in the study Havamal is by Bray, and he says, he craves for water, who comes for refreshment, drying and friendly biting, marks of goodwill, fair fame, if 'tis won, and welcome once and again. And it concludes on to the 3rd translation in this book. Water to him is needed, who for reflection comes, a towel and hospitable invitation, a good reception if he can get it, discourse and answer, by Thorpe. So what do you guys make of this?
Sure, I'll go ahead and go into it. So if you looked at the first 3 videos, you will see this trend of, oh look, this guy comes to visit. What should we give him? Here we're giving him food and water and friendly words. We're being kind to one another. I know, odd in this world, isn't it? Being kind to one another. Right, but this isn't just talking about food and water. It's talking about, you know, kinship and showing, you know, discussing a topic or showing small talk, if you will, if you have nothing else to say. It's that friendly word that's important.
Right. Okay, I get that.
It's no different than actually greeting. Hey, how the heck you been? You know,
right?
Or even, you know,
a hug.
You know, the hug type thing. It's knowing who you're dealing with, how you receive them, how they receive you in return. It's
right.
I like the term kinship, or even fellowship.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's another way of coining the same thing. You know, as we talk about a lot on here, you know, the old way, the old word for friend or Frandi, as it was in Old Norse, then became friend. But Frandi means kinsman.
Oh,
It was someone from your community that you were meeting. Now it's just with social media and everything else in the world, our world is a lot smaller. Our community is a lot bigger because of this.
Well, given
Wow.
the internet connections that we have, and I mean, I've got friends in Belgium and the Netherlands.
Right.
Like you said, it is small. I'm cheating, learning their languages.
Absolutely.
that works. But that's also a fellowship. It's a kinship because they're not just learning from you, you're learning from them.
Right.
Because the more they speak to you, the better they are with English. The more you speak to them, the better you are with their language.
Right.
So it's an equal exchange that way,
Right.
which is something that's also important for friendship and
It's-
kinship too.
And we come back to the idea of if renown he would get and again be greeted.
Right.
This is okay. Yeah, okay, I see what you're trying to do and you're trying to work with me. I'm trying to work with you.
Right.
Right.
It's
So like in Thorpe's, that was from Bellows, if I'm correct.
Yes,
Right.
that was Bellows.
So Thorpe, to bring on to that, that's perfect. Because he says, Thorpe says a good reception if he can get it, discourse and answer.
Right.
So if he can come in and go, okay, hey, yeah, I'm stuck out in the cold. Thanks for letting me in. Thanks for warming me up, letting me have a towel or whatever.
Right.
That's a good reception because he's like, hey, look, this is what I'm bringing to you is for helping. He may turn around one day and be that farmer's best thing that ever happened because he helped this guy one day.
Sure.
Could also be his worst thing.
Sure. Well,
But
but
you have to
again,
put
we go
yourself
back to
out on it.
we have to go back to the idea of responsibility from the
Right.
previous
Right.
stanza.
But this also comes, we see this also in many circles we all walk, whether it be your occupational life, your personal life, your friendship life, different relationships that you have in your life, whatever they may be, and how you interact with each other, no matter which path it is that you happen to be on, no matter what their faith or how they deal with you is what's important.
Right. And going
Definitely.
back to the same thing, right? When Bray says it, he says, marks of goodwill, fair fame, if it is won, right?
Yes.
If you come to my house and you're open, you're honest, you are who you are, you don't throw out anything crazy, you're not a threat, you're there for the reasons you say you're there, then yeah, I wouldn't have a problem welcoming someone to my home again. It'd be like anyone who comes in here to learn from us, right?
Right.
Anyone who comes in, I don't care what path they are, if they want to learn something about
Doesn't
anything
matter.
else, I'm going to tell them what I know. I may listen to what they say. I may not always agree. They may not always agree with me, but that kind of opens that understanding too.
It's an acceptance.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
You have the right to be who and what you are, but
Right.
respect my right to be who and what I am.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing as what is communication? It's the expression of ideas on a common plane of understanding.
Right.
And your actions are even more telling of who you are,
Mhm.
not just your words.
Right.
Words could be empty, but your actions speak volume.
Right. And that's what he says is fair
Right.
fame when it is won, when it comes to that point.
Yeah.
If you're having somebody at your house you've never met before, or say you bring a friend over.
Yes.
Like our first video is a perfect example. We had a gentleman come over from Oregon, and his name was Matt, and he had never been here before. We treated him like he was company. He joined us for the study Havamal
Yes.
and did a video with us that night.
Yes. And as
Yeah, I
well,
saw that.
and as well, not only did he come here in good faith, but he was well received, and he received you well.
Yes,
It was
it was mutual.
yes, it was a mutual, benefit, really.
Right. Everyone learned from it. Everyone had a good gain from it. And in
Right.
fact, the video is currently posted, and others can learn from it too.
Right. And him and I had served in Hawaii together.
Right.
So he had been someone that I had known.
So I apologize that Matt, you served in Hawaii.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So I ran a open pagan circle there for 2 years in Hawaii, and he had been a member of our circle. So he's a native to Oregon. So once he had found out that I was here and that we were doing the stuff with the things, he decided to drive up here and see what it was that we were doing. And so that's when
He came up on the perfect night.
Yes, he did. Yeah, and it turned out really well.
Right.
Yep.
So you never know who's going to come to the door. So having that courtesy, that and my brain just went poof.
Look at it this way. You come to my house.
Right.
You're a guest.
Yep.
You come back to my house. You know where the glasses are. You know where the plates are. You know food's in the refrigerator. You need me to help make coffee? Not a problem, but you know how to make coffee?
Sure.
That sounds awful familiar.
Right? You mean you may have extended that once or twice, or perhaps your wife as well?
Yeah,
And
like
mine.
everybody. Yeah,
Right.
all of us do that.
Yeah.
It falls into that same idea
Of hospitality.
of hospitality.
Of the guest and of the host. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Word.
And it also means that we believe what we
practice what we
practice,
actually
what
talk
we
about.
believe, and what we talk about, and what we read.
Right.
We don't just sit around and go, "Oh, that's cool," and toss it back on the shelf.
Right. So
We find a way to apply it.
That's so nice. That reads so well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
So we have a question from the
We're not those
masses.
people.
What if there's a need for spiritual nourishment? Okay, if you have someone coming to you for spiritual nourishment,
Sure.
and you actually fall under that category if you're a Gothia, Githia, somebody who serves their community, a shaman, a priest, a high priest. It doesn't matter who you are, what pantheon it is. If somebody's coming to you for spiritual help,
Right.
and you serve your community that way,
Right.
you should be providing that for them, even if it's just, okay, they need 10 minutes to not be okay.
And that's okay too.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine too. Sometimes you need to not be okay in order for you to recover and then be okay for the rest of the month or the year, however long it is that you can, I guess the better way to put it, sustain your
Until you
your
can be
dealing
self-sufficient
with
again.
life and with stuff, But we all need that safe place that we can go, and hopefully that's with each other. Hopefully you have someone that you can go to.
And that's the whole point. Is also it's hospitality. Part of hospitality isn't just the guest and host version of it. It's the kinship, the friendship, everything else we've talked about over the past couple videos. But it's also that that community, building of that community, despite who you are or where you're from. It's being the person where if you are not self-sufficient for a while and you don't have that self-sustainability, to be able to go to those other people until you are self-sustainable and self-sufficient.
Right. Perfect example. We came back, my wife and I, at that time, came back from Georgia.
Mhm.
We came back to Washington. I'm generalizing where we're at, okay? I had a friend and his wife. We were friends before this.
Sure.
When we came back, they put us up for a while.
Yeah.
His wife helped us find an apartment, helped us move our stuff in. That was a kinship.
Yep.
That was of friends. Now we've kind of drifted a little bit right now, but I still can go to him. He can still come to me.
Hank did the same thing for us when I got here.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
You and your wife fed us I don't know how many times at your table.
Where?
We sat at your table.
Who?
Oh, right.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Of course not. But I know. It's the same thing. We had known each other for a couple years prior to this. We had been friends for a long while.
And we still kept in
And we
contact
kept in
while you were serving.
Absolutely. And once I found out I was coming back, which you had already said years ago that I would, which is still funny as shit to me. But anyhow, here I am, and here I sit, and there I was at your home, partaking in food with you. And that's kind of what we all do for each other.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a wonderful thing, and hopefully you all out there watching have somewhere that you can go. And if not, if you're in the Washington area, please look us up.
It's referred to as a soft place to land.
In fact, I think everybody has a couple of those friends. I've got a friend back east who ended up in Korea with me out of nowhere. And then he transferred. I thought he was going to New York. He ended up getting transferred here.
Right.
And the only reason I knew he was there was because during indoctrination, when I came to the state, he was sitting in front of me, and I started talking smack because he's one of my friends.
Right.
Loudly about the guy's head in front of me being too large and bulbous for anybody to see through.
Oh,
And he just turned around and he goes, "Hey man, what's going on?" So there are those people where you can see them and you haven't seen them for years and years. Maybe you only talk to them every once in a while, but you can actually pick it up just like it was yesterday.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's very rare anymore. And it's one of those things that's really, truly amazing when you find those people.
We had another question from the from the audience.
Oh, yes.
Peanut Gallery. How did the gods set the example? Wow. How did the gods set the example? You made mention earlier of when we were going through the third stanza. Auden coming through, testing. Okay. There's always those tests. One of the things I have on Facebook, take care of who comes to your door and how you treat them. For you may have served Auden.
Oh yeah.
At your
table.
At your table.
Sure.
Same idea applies. You don't know who, so you treat them accordingly. Like, doesn't matter. Okay, hey, yeah, okay, you're not necessarily a friend, but hey, come, we share. Yeah.
Right. Right. Absolutely. But you know, we see this in the story of Engdahl and how he became called the father of mankind. You know, he is the father of the classes. He laid with both man and woman, as it states, not just women, but man and woman. And he had children with the women. And the first one was the thrall, the second one was the carl, and the third one was the noble jarl, the jarl's son. And there it leads to the three classes. But we also know that not only did he lay with all three and have no judgments as to how humble their beginnings and how humble their home was, and he didn't judge them by this. In fact, he accepted what they could give him. Right. And this is important because when you come into someone's home that you don't know, or maybe you know them quite well, and maybe they live a little more humbly than you would like, or maybe they live a little bit higher than you would like, you still welcome that non-judgment, you know, that safe space that they provide for you, you know, to voice your opinions, to voice your ideas together.
So it's kind of like the example of going to a friend's house and you say, "Hey, can I have a glass of water?"
Mm-hmm.
And they go up and they get their bit of purified water and they pour you a bottle. And then you've got your friend, somebody else with you that goes, "Well, I only drink this bottle of water." And then it's showing their lack of hospitality at that point.
Right.
On whether or not they
Right.
can be a good guest.
I don't drink Folgers coffee. Right.
What if that person? Right. So it's a question of what the person can give.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone can be an amber snob.
Right, but everyone can be a snob of some sort, and that's the
Right.
important part. You know, hubris isn't just a nice Greek word that we use every now and then. You know,
No, it's
we
a
know
very
people.
real thing.
Yeah, we know people.
It's very true, and everyone has those faults and flaws.
Sure.
And knowing what yours are is kind of important to knowing yourself, too.
Right, right. And also, being a good guest and a good host also means that sometimes you have to put
To
your
suck it up.
host and your guests in their place. If they overstep their bounds, let them know where that line is.
Yeah.
Whichever way it is.
Still mulling this. Still mulling this because
Sure.
I'm thinking how this relates, because I agree with what you're saying,
Mhm.
only from the fact that I practice it at home.
Yes, you do.
If You say you need something to drink. I offer what I have. If I
That's right.
don't have, in other words, okay, I have a particular beer.
Yes.
Okay. I don't give you secondhand. You share. If I think it's good for me, I know it's going to be good for you.
Exactly.
If my wife makes a spaghetti sauce,
Right.
I'm not going to cheat you
Right.
in something different.
But the other side of that is that the beer that you happen to like, I enjoy as well. But let's say, for instance, I go to someone's house who drinks Budweiser. Personally, I feel Budweiser's piss. But that's me. A lot of people happen to like it.
But I accept.
But exactly. I accept it in the spirit in which it was given. If someone offers me beer, I say thank you kindly, and I drink the damn beer. Even if it's not my forte, because that's sometimes what being a good guest is.
Right.
Is it's accepting what's given as well.
Or asking for water instead if you have to drive.
Sure. And that's a great excuse to not have to drink piss.
Just saying. There are ways to do things where you can still be a good host or a good guest without, going.
Did I
My
hear
normal
you say,
rule
did
in
I
life
hear
is
you
don't
say you
drink
had
it.
Kool-Aid? What?
So,
Right.
it follows that.
No, it's jungle juice.
Sorry. Right. So yeah,
Right.
it's the thought and the action that counts.
Right. You mean we are our deeds?
Yeah,
Holy
you're
shit.
held.
Wow.
You can be held accountable for what you do.
What a thought. What
I
a
know, right?
concept.
Yeah.
Original.
So it's
Doesn't
kind
that-
of
doesn't
saying
that fit with
yeah.
Renown?
Mm.
Mm.
Wow.
You mean men die, cattle die. The only thing that lives on is your reputation?
We
That's
haven't gotten there
that's-
yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, he's cheating and
Quit,
he's going
quit
ahead.
jumping ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll stick with the stanza we're on. So,
It's helpful,
yeah.
Nope.
That wasn't a good enough gift slap. Give it to him. Jeez.
See about what I
So,
said about
okay.
setting me in my place? Yeah,
So, anyways, on that note, okay, is there anything specific to this stanza that you would like to also talk about for a moment?
So we're still dealing with the idea, towel and hospitality, invitation. We're still talking about comfort.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
not talking about, okay, you're coming in from wherever you're coming from and you're grubby. Here is water to cleanse.
Yep.
Make yourself feel comfortable so that you feel comfortable in handling, eating, whatever.
Right.
Greeting.
It's
Right.
Think of it this way. It's still added on to the other stanzas before it, right? So
It
this guy
basically
just
built
came
it,
up.
but yeah.
He came up, came into the house. You put him in. You made him comfortable. You said, "Here's a towel. Here's fresh clothing. I'm going to treat you as a host would to a guest."
Right.
And he's
Not like
accepting,
family, but
and
almost
right.
family, you know.
And he's accepting. He's being a good host. He's speaking to you as person to person, like us speaking now.
Right.
He's gaining his fair fame. He's showing that he's that good guest.
Sure.
So
Or
you
good
want
host,
to
yeah.
give him water to wash his hands.
Right.
You want to, and at that point, you want the guy the person to stay. It's not like he's imposing. It's the person is becoming a good guest. It's when somebody oversteps that bounds is what
Right.
they're trying to point out.
And that's in other stanzas
Right.
from
Right.
what I've read.
That's to come.
And that's to come.
And that's also one of the things that that varies differently from the giants or Jotun from the gods. Is that the gods were welcoming in their halls of those who are worthy to come into their hall, whereas the Jotun, if you're not Jotun, you're nothing. And that's kind of where that comes from, depending.
Depending on the Jotun, yeah.
Sure.
Some were very, very friendly with the gods.
Well,
Sure.
Some Jotun were Asir.
Well, and some were wary of the gods for good reason. I mean, we all know the story of Kvasir's mead and how he stole it from Kvasir.
Right.
You know, the gods were not always good guests or good hosts.
Right.
You know.
And sometimes they paid dearly for that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Skadi got to choose her husband based upon such a thing.
Yes. I sense another question coming through from the peanut gallery.
I see the question coming. Yes. It's here. No, not yet.
It's on lined paper with a marker.
That's the secret. Wait. Oops. Awareness of consequences. Yeah, actually, that's a lot about what the entire Havamal is about. That's an overlying echo that goes through this whole thing that you will be seeing forever.
Yeah.
That we are accountable for our actions, our inactions. We are held.
Sure.
Sometimes the consequences are not what we would like.
We have no magical scapegoat that we can blame to.
Right.
He did it.
Well, except for maybe that.
Oh, okay.
But that's a whole other story.
We are accountable for our actions.
Right.
Yes.
Nobody else can take that blame. Nobody else can stand in for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the same token, when you do something great, you did it.
Well,
Yeah.
It goes both
Yeah.
ways.
Bragging is cool as long as
unless
legit.
you're actually used to the bragging.
Right. Just make it a good story. That's all I ask.
Right. It sucks.
We understand embellishments happen.
Isn't that what the whole idea of bragging was doing?
Big.
Oh yeah.
Brag,
Yeah.
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 Yes, my
Yeah,
fish
skull,
was
right.
every bit of that long. How long? Oh yeah, about that long.
Right.
But
Right. If I killed a 2-point buck, by the time I'm done with the story, it's an 18 buck.
What the hell?
You know, it's a massive stag. You know.
None like it in the world.
Right. Right. Right.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our company tonight, going over the 4th stanza. Once again, we'll do the corny YouTube thing. Like, comment, share, if all that stuff. Ring the bell thing so you get notifications.
Yep.
Comment below. Seriously, we want your feedback. We want to know how we can do our videos better to help you or to help understanding grow.
Or even
because
if-
we're
or-
here for the community.
Or even if you have questions,
Yes.
we will answer. And if we don't have the answer right away, we will find it.
Right. And maybe that's what we'll do on the. You know, if you post your questions, we will take the time at the end of the next video we film, and we will answer those questions. Maybe it'll be like the last 2 to 3 minutes, but we will answer them. So please post them, and please post your comments, even if we don't like them, even if we don't agree with them. As long as you're respectful, they'll be there. I promise.
Thanks, and please check out our Facebook page, webpage, whatever you need to do. Let us know what you think and what we can do to help serve the community. Thank you very much.
Hold the heathen hammer high.